So we're on our criminal track here, criminal stuff and things track. Clay, you brought this one to my attention. I was oblivious of it. What a surprise. What a surprise. I was oblivious. Yeah, so this is crazy. Go ahead and tell them about it, and then we'll talk about it.
So, this is our public service announcement for the week. So summer's coming, right? VRBO, vacation rental by owner, Airbnb, all of these short-term rental apps and programs that you can get into. People love them. I've used them before. You used them before. They're
Absolutely.
great.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
It's nice to have a house, right, to go in and out of versus a hotel, and you get a little bit more freedom and flexibility. But here's the warning: criminals are starting to target these things, and so I don't want to give a how-to, but this is kind of what's going on. And if you're a vacationer and you plan on doing this summer, you need to be aware, because this is going on. What the criminals are doing is they are getting on the app, right? Putting in their zip code, what Airbnb or VRBO or whatever is in the area, and then they start targeting them, right? So they'll do drive by, they'll check the house. Okay, we know that's one. Who's in the driveway now? What kind of car? And then they'll check, because you can, availability. So they'll know when it's occupied and when it's not.
Right.
And what they're doing is they're targeting the houses while the tourists are in them. Because it's not your house, right? You may miss a door lock. There's probably not a security system in a lot of these, right? It's all of those things. So they target the house. They watch that you're there, you're not there, you're on vacation. So it's not like you're just going to sit in the Airbnb the whole time. Maybe you are, but if you're not, then they're going to take advantage of that. But what they're also doing is taking advantage of the fact that you're a tourist. You're probably in a rental car in a lot of cases. You're definitely in a city that you're probably not familiar with, or your vacation, it's not your hometown. And they're going to take advantage of your lack of situational awareness. So what are they doing? They're carjacking tourists, right? So go to the Airbnb. We know that's a tourist. We know they're driving this car, and they follow you. You go to the gas station, carjack you. They rob you, right? Not pickpocket. I'm talking like mugging style robbing. So they're using the information, right? And me being an Army guy, intelligence of these apps, and they're applying it to criminal activity, right? So they're using that to help them target tourists. It's reprehensible. I mean, it's
awful. And what a surprise. People find a way to ruin everything. Once again, people find ways to be absolute garbage humans. And this is a perfect example of that. And to your comment before, I've quite a few times we've used Airbnb. I think we've used both of them. Great experiences every time. One of the things that I did pick or look for when picking the places, and this is probably I think maybe it's a good recommendation for people who are looking for Airbnbs, or the other one, is check if they have, typically they will say if they have a security system, and or at the very least, like a Ring doorbell. I don't know if all of them say, but the ones that I've used did say that they had some type of security there. So that was kind of a priority. I mean, you really do. You have to be smart. And then, just add that to the other layers of personal safety and security when you do that stuff. I mean, you should be checking for, cameras. This is not to do with the external criminals. This is to do with more of the owners of these things that may not be the best people in the world. Right. So, you should be checking for cameras, little tiny cameras in the vents and all of those type of things. Just add it to the list of all of these safety measures that we have to take because of a handful of really scummy people in the world. It's bigger than a handful, I know.
And then on top of all that, right? So you've got, as a traveler, you've got all of that to worry about, which sucks, because now you're on your vacation, right? Now you got to worry about that on your vacation. So what does that do, right? And they're already starting to see impacts in specific places where this is, kind of on the rise. So people are, as this becomes more public knowledge and the incidents are becoming more reported, people are going to stop using VRBO, Airbnb in those areas because of the criminal activity. So what do? Then they go back to hotels, right? Or they stop traveling, which is even worse. But not right. If they're bound to travel, then they're going to go back to hotels. Now, the owners of these are now they have a rental property that
they can't rent out.
A harder time to rent. So they're going to do what business people do. They're going to lower the price. They're going to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's going to affect this as an industry.
Right.
So, you know, there's caution there too. If you're an Airbnb VRBO owner, and you're, you know, you have this as an income stream for you, passive income kind of thing. Good for you, but you may want to start looking to be a little more creative in how you, you know, take care of your customers and clients. Could be a boon for some people. Like if you figure out how to make sure it's a great, secure, safe experience. You know, you may get like repeat business upon repeat business because you cracked the, you know, cracked the egg on this thing or cracked the nut on this thing and figured out how to do it. But if you're somebody who just is like, hey, look, I can't afford to dump money into extra ring cameras or extra security systems or whatever, you know, then you're gonna, might be painful for you. You might end up losing out on this, right? So it has an effect on the industry as a whole, and it really is a shame. It really is a shame.
It is because you know, it's really such a cool concept. It's such a cool idea. And there's so many of them. I mean, you can, you know, there's just so many of them. And like I said, I've always had great experiences. We haven't done it a ton of times. I don't want to make it sound like I've like, you know, been to so many of them. No, I mean, maybe like 4 times, which probably isn't a lot, but it's enough. I mean, it's enough. And, you know, I mean, it's been fine. It's been great. But yes, you do look for certain things, and that's really important. And to your point, you know, like you said, that affects the prices for these things too, because like you said, it could either do one of two things. It could drop the prices because they're so desperate to get people to stay, or because they have to add so many new security measures and protections. Now it's going to jack the prices up of these stays. So it's you know, yet another thing that's going to be.
I'll throw one more little wrench in this.
Yeah.
If this administration continues, big gov, expect more regulation, because this is a generally unregulated industry. Right. So like Lyft and Uber, you know, one of the reasons they had such an impact, like taxi cabs, as you know, in all big cities, were regulated like to the nth degree. By the city governments and those kinds of things, right? And then Lyft and Uber were like, hey, it's your car and it's your thing, and you can, you know, and it has been generally unregulated. VRBO, Airbnb, short-term rental, also very unregulated. So when you've got the big gov folks who love to add, you know, bureaucracy and regulation to things, this is a prime example of something that if this continues, guarantee you're going to see more government involvement in that industry, which is going to do nothing but hike the prices.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess fortunately right now they're so busy trying to regulate your vehicle that you drive and your stove that you use and the light bulbs you screw into your things there. So, you know, maybe this will
vote for.
And who you vote for, of course. You know, so many things to control, so little time.
Terrible.
I mean, I guess I technically mean that very literally, because they are throwing everything at the wall to see what will stick, because they know potentially their time is almost up. So, you know, it's, I mean,
awful.
One way or the other, man, it's going to be. I don't know, if you're a Christian. I know that you're not, Clay. If you're a Christian, you are holding on to that Bible and you are reading Revelation right now over and over again, man. Woo.
I went to 8 years of Catholic school, and me and God are good.
I love it. Me and God are good. I like that.
Revelation I'm familiar with.
Yes, that's intense stuff right there. We won't go there for you guys. Everybody relax.
All good.